Let us go back to 2019. There is no COVID-19 pandemic, no big bloody war in Europe. Elon Musk is not running Twitter. In short, the last normal year. The year that ended with the release of The Witcher show. And after that, everything went straight bananas. Could it be that Netflix summoned the devil into this world with their creation? What do you think? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because after watching The Witcher by Netflix, there is only one question. What the hell was that? I despise The Witcher show. I find it horrible and offensive. But I also know that there is a huge number of people on the internet who like what Netflix has done. It's quite understandable. The show has its good sides. So if you don't want to hear why The Witcher show is a total rock bottom, you can close this video right now. But if you do agree with me, or if you're just interested in another opinion, you're welcome. Because today, while everyone is waiting for the second part of the third season of The Witcher, I will describe in detail my indignation at the first season of the show. My God, how much outright nonsense there is in this show. So many misdesigned characters, such a miswritten script, so many flaws that you just can't scroll past. They literally stick in your memory and just cause disappointment and frank dejection as the show goes on. You're listening to the Old Witcher speak, and we're about to look into what's wrong with Netflix's The Witcher show. Pros. In order not to scare everyone away at once, we'll start on a good note. Let's talk about the pros. After all, even the most critical approach could not fail to see the obvious positive things in the most anticipated show of 2019. The headline among the pros is a pair of actors, Henry Cavill and Joey Batty, and a pair of characters, respectively, Geralt and Dandelion. They got into their characters so well. Their dialogues will enthrall any fan of the universe. The acting is peerless. Cavill, who often has to play complete emotionlessness, perfectly captures the mood of an almost always sullen Geralt, although it seems impossible. The charisma of the actor is incredible. You can see that he got perfectly embedded into the role and understands who he needs to play. And when the signature sound showed up here and there, it was enough to squeal with delight.
Fuck.
Dandelion perfectly complements Geralt. The actor plays the same light-hearted, lovable bard who always has to get bailed out of trouble. The characters complement each other, match the personalities, the actors play perfectly. And when Geralt and Dandelion appear in the frame, the viewer understands that here the Witcher is. Right here. I would also like to say a huge thank you to everyone involved in the first episode of the show. It was stunning, even though it didn't have Dandelion. After watching it, I was sure that the show was great at that time. I thought we were in for a masterpiece, that we were going to be told an amazing story. But unfortunately, there were too many disappointments. The third and the fifth episodes were not bad. The third episode lacked character development, and the fifth episode should have had the first 10 minutes cut out. But in the big picture, they can be called decent. I was also pleased with the music. It conveys the beautiful atmosphere of The Witcher's world. The music is always on time, always the one that suits the mood of the show. Sometimes it even gave me goosebumps to see how much it fit. It is worth noting the acting. Everyone, absolutely everyone, even the unnecessary or poorly written characters, look at least alive because of the actors. The actors do their best. They get into the characters, and for that they are greatly respected. I would especially like to mention the actresses. Anya Chalotra fit the role of Yennefer quite well. Ciri by Freya Allen is simply magical. Queen Calanthe by Jodie May is a real lioness of Sintra. Desire de Vries, played by Miana Bering, is so strong and majestic that you realize who you are dealing with when you look at her. And Millie Brady, who played Princess Renfrey, fit into the role perfectly, playing her part splendidly in the short time allotted to her, showing the full range of emotions and making us empathize with her character. Here's a big bow to them. The actors show out with their characters, putting everything out to the fullest over there in every scene. It is certain that they pulled this show out of the abyss of total failure on their own shoulders. I want to say thank you for the many references to books and games. For all the drawbacks of the show, they are pleasantly warming to the soul when you notice them. Also striking are the battle scenes. Well staged, dynamic, brutal and bloody. During, for example, Geralt's battle with Renfrey's henchmen, and the Cursed Princess herself. It is simply impossible to tear yourself away from the screen. It looks gorgeous and vivid. Great camera work. Well shot, but that seems to be the end of the show's positive points. Cons. I don't understand people who say, "Oh, well, at least it's not an ugly piece of trash. Get over it. We've been waiting for so long. Well, at least it doesn't look embarrassing. Well, at least they tried. It could have been worse." Bullshit. Total bullshit. What kind of argument is that? The Witcher has positioned itself as a show that will take on the laurels of the Game of Thrones, a massive project with huge ambitions. Why? Why should it be discounted in any way? There is no adequate reason to do so. That's why we should judge the show without looking at various excuses. The first and main disadvantage of the show is that it is sketchy. It is not at all clear how an outsider who has come across this show for the first time and who has not heard anything about The Witcher or the history of this world will understand anything at all. Because they tried to cram a huge number of time periods and storylines into 8 episodes, the whole story remains stitched together with white threads, figuratively speaking, of course. What is Nilfgaard? Why does it attack? Who is Emperor Fergus var Emreis? He is mentioned as many as 2 times. Who is the usurper? Who is Falka? Mentioned twice. Why is everyone afraid of Falka? What is the White Flame? Why do wizards get turned into eels? What is the motivation behind Nilfgaard? What do they want anyway? What is Cahir's motivation? Who are the elves? What is Dol Blathanna? What is going on in this world in general? Who are the halflings? What is the difference between them and the dwarves? Who are the Dopplers? In the name of what does the Doppler act having turned into Mousesack and killing him? What is Sodden? What is Aedirn? What is Lyria? What is the chapter of wizards? What are wizards for anyway? What is this or that sex scene for? And what time period are we even in now? And lots of other questions that came up to me while I was watching the show. They went unanswered. The plot of The Witcher show is mush. It's a mess of characters with no motivation, no backstory, and no principles, all scattered across different timelines and doing something, somewhere, somehow. It is an attempt to cram the uncrammable into 8 episodes of an hour each. And in this very plot, there is still something more or less normal as long as it has a book background. When the screenwriters start to make their own decisions, a real hell of stupid logic and violation of the laws of their own world begins. Shit, you don't have a 2-hour movie on your hands. You've got an 8-hour-long show. So why do you have more than half the characters as blank slips of paper who are just there for the hell of it? Why do they do these or those things? In the name of what? Let us move on to the characters. Cahir, right off the cliff into the abyss. The standard question is, why are you like this? In the books, you were a valiant knight fighting for his power and his family. A knight who didn't even call himself a Nilfgaardian. A true warrior with principles and goals in life. And in the end, you became a monster, a horrible monster, in horrible, uncomfortable armor with a ridiculous helmet. In the show, you kick old men, hello Mousesack, you know no pity or honor, you're unprincipled, you're disgusting, you have no motivation to be who you are, there is no background to your actions. Why do you fight and kill at all? What is your position? You're boring, self-righteous, cruel, but you inspire neither fear nor respect. You're nothing. If you were the king of the Nazgul in The Lord of the Rings, nothing would change. It's the same with Nilfgaard in general. In the show, the Nilfs are the orcs from the same Lord of the Rings. They're simply evil, they are born evil, and they want to do only evil. Capture, rape, kill, and destroy everyone. They act stupidly on the battlefield. They win only via numbers, for they don't even fight properly. There is no mention of political intrigue, strong personalities, or clever spies. The Nilfs are just cruel and bloodthirsty. In fact, it's ridiculous. I'm not even talking about their costumes. Fringilia, even though I really liked the acting of Mimi Ndiweni, who definitely lived up to the scriptwriter's description. Oh my god, how bad did the scriptwriters fuck up? What the hell is the motivation behind Fringilia's actions? Where is it? Did it grow out of a childish grudge against Yennefer? What the hell is this nonsense? Why is the sorceress so powerful? A true Terminator, capable of standing alone against dozens of wizards? Seriously? If she allows herself to use forbidden magic, for example, why isn't she being hunted by the wizards of the chapter? What drives her at all? Is it a desire to take over the world and kill everyone? Is she evil because she's evil? I don't know. That's all. Eat it, dear viewers. Let's continue with the studying in Arethusa, which is more like Hunger Games. Sorceresses just don't care about gifted girls. It's as if they're lying around on every road just to be picked up. They're exposed to deadly dangers without training, made to suffer, held in some kind of prison cells. It's impossible to watch at all. In the end, student girls not capable enough are simply turned into eels a couple of days after being admitted to Arethusa. Eels that are kept in a spring near Arethusa itself. I imagine Yennefer teaching Ciri this way in the books. Our first magic lesson, Ciri. Take note. First rule, if you don't like someone, turn them into an eel or just kill them. The next thing is Dara the elf. Not just a character, but more like a misunderstanding. He appears out of nowhere. He's completely unexpected and always at the right moment. A guardian angel, or to be more exact, a fallen piano. Again, the character has no motivation whatsoever. He should even hate Ciri, but somehow, someway, the magic of movies always saves her. Appearing out of thin air, he just disappears into nowhere at the end when the need for him is gone. I mean, what could be worse? Wait a minute. How about a completely unnecessary character who has no backstory, no motivation, and generally damn near nothing to do with anything? Hello, Villeforts. You're a powerful wizard, and you're a useless piece of screen time. The character is so bad, whether he's on the show or not on the show, it doesn't matter. He shows up, says something, then says something else a few more times, says something pathetic, then he goes into battle. Completely gets destroyed in battle with a commoner, using his powerful magic for, warning, creating new sabers. Genius. He fights Cahir, who knocks the saber out of Villefort's hands. And he creates a new saber, and keeps fighting Cahir. And 3 more times. And at the end, he still loses like a useful piece of you-know-what. Pointless and merciless. It's officially the most empty and useless character in the history of cinema. You can't think of anything worse. And then there's the love story between Yennefer and the wizard Istrid. I'll speak it out in a few words. The first episode, they meet. In 5 minutes of screen time, they kiss. In 2 more minutes, they sleep together with some sort of imaginary crowd that applauds the process. In 2 more minutes, Istrid betrays the sorceress while he serves Stregobor for some reason. Again, why exactly, no one knows. And in another 2 minutes, they break up with a scandal because Yennefer suddenly becomes strong and independent. That's it. The end. Isn't that cool? We could go on about the characters for a long time, but there are so many more failures to talk about. Graphics. Gods, those graphics. The CGI, that is. That villain who's chasing Yennefer. Lur from the Defenders, is that you? Who is he? What's he doing? What the hell is going on? Next up, the dragon. His transformation, which remains off-screen. His movements, which are almost absent. His flame. You know, if a TV show with such graphics got filmed in the post-USSR countries, everyone would be shouting, "Ew, once again we don't know what they filmed." The budget was cut and there was no money left for normal CGI. Screw that. And as for the Witcher show, everyone is just saying, well, they didn't have enough money, the budget was small, they have no experience. I just want to say to these people,
what in heaven's name are you talking about?
This is the level of the Merlin TV show from 2008. Moving on, the timeline. God, what have they done? I have friends who are unfamiliar with the world, the universe, and who are just waiting for the show. Anyway, they didn't understand anything at all. The most frequent question was, oh, that old woman Calanthe died in the first episode. So what's going on in the 4th episode anyway? Why is she alive? Where's Ciri? Who are all these people? What's that ball about? I've got a question. Screenwriters, Do you yourselves understand what's going on in your script or do you not? We're shown 3 parallel storylines from the first episode of Geralt, Ciri, and Yennefer. Why do we suddenly go back in time? How are we told about this? How are we supposed to know what timeline we are in? Why should we even care about Pavetta and Urchan's story? Who are they? Why do they love each other? Why does Iced go up against Calanthe? Why does Pavetta have some kind of power? Where does this all come from? Why? 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 Once again, neither the motivation, nor the backstory, nor even Vietnamese flashbacks to explain anything. You look at Pavetta and Urchan and their big reunion and you think, oh well, the shits I give. There's some epic stuff, everyone's in danger, and all that's called for is a yawn. And in parallel, the average viewer understands nothing of what's going on. Here, for example, is another plot about a Doppler having turned into Stregobor. He seems to kidnap Ciri, he seems to defeat her and her elf friend in a fight. So why, in the name of logic, why does he leave Ciri tied up in the forest, transforms himself into the girl and impersonates her in front of Cahir, who sends him after Ciri? Why? Do answer at least one of these questions in the comments on the narrative side of the show. Well, I could have been angry for a longer time, but we have to call it a day. We'll finish with the last episode of the show and the battle on Sodden Hill, which is more absurd than any of the illogical battles in the Game of Thrones. Number 1. Evil wizards kill themselves to create fireballs that are loaded into catapults and they are hurled at the good wizards, who hit them back. Sounds like a plan. Number 2. Fringilia is just evil because she's evil, and that Nilfgaard are the orcs of Mordor, some cannon fodder, eager to kill and all. We've already said that. What's next? Let Triss grow mushrooms that will poison Nilfgaard's fighting squads. And let her grow a wall of roots too. Also let Vilgefortz sword fight Cahir and show himself to be a laughingstock. And also let Vilgefortz kill some poor fellow. Why? I don't know. Oh, and have Sabrina Glavissig defect to the enemy because she has some leeches put in her ears. And let them all destroyed by Yennefer alone. How? Why didn't she do it sooner? Who cares? Oh yes, the armies of the north. How embarrassing it is that you arrived when Yennefer had already slaughtered everyone. Basically, you can turn around and go back. That's it. The end. P.S. Why did Ciri suddenly run to Geralt at the very end? She had never seen him in the show, she hadn't known him, and she should be afraid of him. What's the point? P.P.S. I feel sorry for Mousesack. Genuinely. P.P.P.S. Thank God that the people in charge of the costumes on the show were fired, and now the show, being already extended for a second season, has at least some chance. Bottom line, The old Witcher did not mean to hurt anyone's feelings. If someone likes Netflix's The Witcher, that's fine. After all, even my friends have different opinions on the show. You can also speak up if you disagree, right under this video. Reasonable comments will get a response, possibly having a chance to change the author's opinion. Perhaps something was missed while watching the show. Also, thank you all for watching this video. Do like it, drop a subscribe, click on the bell, and The Old Witcher will speak once again real soon.